Welcome back to our channel where we provide updates and undisclosed narratives on Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. We are excited to share the following news. Prince William officially confronts Meghan's false claim over Catherine. A recent report garnering significant attention in the United Kingdom and abroad details a comprehensive privately conducted interview with Prince William, the Prince of Wales, in which he purportedly directly refutes a series of allegations made by his sister-in-law Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. The story depicts the prince as staunchly defending his wife Catherine, the Princess of Wales, asserting her pivotal role in the monarchy's future, while contending that the narrative propagated by the Sussexes is fundamentally erroneous. The story positions the intervention not just as a personal reaction to familial discord, but as a declaration with institutional significance, considering the stature of the individuals involved and the persistent public interest and examination around the royal family. The narrative states that the conversation occurred in a private study at Kensington Palace and claims to provide Prince William's personal viewpoint on a publicly unfolding rift that has persisted for many years. The report cites him as asserting the allegations made by Meghan are unequivocally false. Her narrative does not correspond with the actual events and has resulted in a profoundly misleading public perception. That rendition of events lacks any foundation in reality. These statements, as documented in the report, serve as a direct refutation of particular assertions and, by extension, a challenge to the overarching public discourse that has developed since the Duke and Duchess of Sussex relinquished their formal royal responsibilities in 2020. The reported remarks exhibit a tone that is both personal and intentionally corrective, a husband defending his wife, while an heir apparent aims to mitigate reputational risk for the institution he is poised to oversee. The date and context of the interview influence the broader interpretation of the report. The royal family is now experiencing a notable phase of vulnerability and transition. The story indicates that King Charles III is receiving treatment for a diagnosed cancer, while the Princess of Wales is recuperating after taking prophylactic chemotherapy. Catherine's public function has acquired more importance and symbolic significance within this environment. Observers have mentioned that she is being portrayed as a symbol of continuity and stability for the institution, and Prince William's alleged remarks reinforce that portrayal. He stated, "Catherine is embarking on a significant new chapter, and she has my complete support." The implication is evident as the monarchy faces inquiries regarding succession, public trust, and institutional significance. The behavior and reputation of the Prince and Princess of Wales are crucial to the Crown's potential for revitalization. The story indicates that Prince William's choice to voice his concerns was driven by a perceived need to shield the Princess of Wales from what he views as a continuous campaign of disinformation that may jeopardize her standing as she approaches more public duties. The timing of his engagement is considered crucial. The royal family is still addressing the ramifications of many internal problems, particularly the exclusion of Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, from public life, and the revocation of certain titles and privileges linked to that process. The report suggests that William's comments intend to recalibrate a public narrative that since 2020 has frequently been influenced by assertions from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, thereby attempting to restore public perception in favor of the immediate heirs and their management of the institution. The stated aim is to establish a distinct demarcation between familial conflicts and the obligations of those anticipated to guide the monarchy into a new epoch. The Sussex narrative and counterarguments. The public divide evident recently may be attributed to a succession of prominent media appearances and books by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, which together provide a divergent and often critical narrative of their experiences within the royal family. The couple's 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey was perceived as a pivotal moment as they levied significant allegations regarding their treatment and the institution that had previously remained largely confidential. The interview contained damaging allegations, including claims that Meghan lacked sufficient support during her mental health challenges, and most controversially, that discussions occurred within the family regarding the potential skin color of their unborn son, Archie. The media and public perception of the latter charge saw it as an accusation of racism inside the royal household, an interpretation that heightened coverage and incited a worldwide discourse on race privilege and the contemporary character of the monarchy. Prince Harry's 2023 memoir, Spare, elaborates on the couple's concerns, providing an extensive personal narrative that revisits previously reported occurrences and introduces fresh memories and interpretations. The book detailed particular conflicts and personal times of strain, adding depth and nuance to debates that had previously been speculative. An incident that garnered significant attention was a dispute before the couple's 2018 wedding. Harry's narrative indicated that the Princess of Wales had caused Meghan to weep over bridesmaid outfits. Additional sections of the book depicted Prince William as combative and without empathy towards the couple's challenges, thus contributing to an image of sibling alienation and emotional detachment at critical instances. The memoir's frankness and economic success bolstered the Sussexes' ability to influence public discourse beyond the limitations of traditional royal communications. In a previously published interview, Prince William explicitly refuted these specific allegations. The story references sources that confirm previous palace comments, indicating that the bridesmaid dress incident occurred differently than Harry described in Spare. The newspaper cites people identified as royal insiders, asserting that it was the Duchess of Sussex, whose remarks and requests disturbed the Princess of Wales, who was then in a delicate postpartum phase after the birth of Prince Louis. The report suggests that William thinks important background details were left out or changed in Harry's story details that could greatly change how people view the situation and the relationships between those involved. The study highlights that the prince's answer addresses not just the chronology of events, but also the tone and meaning derived from them. The investigation further examines the allegations of racially charged remarks made during the Oprah interview. In 2021, Prince William openly said that the royal family is definitely not a racist family. In a subsequent interview, he sought to recontextualize the first discussion. Insiders associated with the palace have indicated that inquiries or conjectures regarding the prospective child's appearance stemmed from familial interest rather than explicit racial bias, and that these discussions were subsequently recontextualized to amplify their capacity for public controversy. The prince's alleged statement that the Sussexes' narrative lacks any foundation in truth is characterized in the paper as his most emphatic public refutation of those allegations to date. He is considered seeking to undermine not just the factual basis of specific tales, but also the broader interpretative context that has transformed private comments into an allegation of systematic prejudice. Another persistent issue in the conflict has been accusations of bullying directed toward Meghan by former royal employees. Reports from 2018 indicated that the Duchess fostered a challenging work climate, leading to the exodus of many staffers. Kensington Palace launched an investigation into these allegations, but never fully disclosed the details and results to the public. Meghan has frequently said that she is the target of a systematic defamation campaign conducted by royal officials and exacerbated by negative media coverage. In contrast, the prince's reported comments suggest he believes the initial complaints from staff are important and legitimate. He apparently rejects the idea that Meghan is a victim in those work issues, suggesting that the Sussexes' story is a way to twist difficult work situations into a victim narrative. Collectively, these denials aim to challenge the Sussexes' public narrative across three interconnected domains: familial conflicts, accusations of racial insensitivity, and professional behavior. Each category has unique consequences for public perception about the character and suitability of the major individuals, and these implications have been intensified by modern media dynamics that favor sensational revelations and polarizing narratives. The source characterizes William's retort as an attempt to halt what he views as a continuous decline in trust and respect towards his wife, and by implication, the institution she will assist in governing. The implications in this narrative transcend familial honor to include the legitimacy of a monarchy that is significantly dependent on the public's opinion of its principal pair. The functions of media and public perception. A primary theme in the recent disputes involving the royal family pertains to the role and accountability of the press, with the report emphasizing the significant impact of the British tabloid press, which the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have openly condemned as invasive and, according to their assertions, frequently antagonistic. The analysis of media coverage throughout the years, however, reveals a complicated and even conflicting dynamic. Numerous observers, commentators, media experts, and portions of the public have identified a discernible double standard in the media portrayal of Catherine the Princess of Wales and Meghan the Duchess of Sussex, whereby similar behaviors are portrayed differently according to the individual involved. The report presents examples of this asymmetrical framing. Some sites portrayed Catherine's embrace of her baby belly during pregnancy as a symbol of maternal affection and honesty. The media often characterized Meghan's similar posture in various contexts as contrived or theatrical. Comparable disparities were apparent in the portrayal of quotidian decisions. Catherine's food selections were depicted as healthy and relatable habits, whereas Meghan's dietary inclinations were occasionally framed by commentators or newsroom narratives that linked them to wider critical discourses, at times even to political or cultural positions. Fashion selections, philanthropic actions, and instances of public poise were often analyzed via many perspectives. The analysis indicates that these differing representations fostered a media environment in which viewers were quietly or openly prompted to recognize a significant disparity in the personalities, motives, and genuineness of the two women. In the interview, Prince William seems to ascribe considerable importance to this pattern of coverage. He is cited as stating that the Sussexes' narrative has resulted in a profoundly misleading perception among the public. This assertion suggests that a meticulously crafted and prolonged narrative was presented to the public, one that he and his associates argue was based on selective disclosures, strategically orchestrated stories, and, according to William's perspective, media manipulation. The report cites allegations that unfavorable narratives regarding the Princess of Wales were occasionally disseminated or intensified during significant announcements or phases of favorable coverage related to the Sussexes, consequently detracting from Catherine's public image and complicating the overarching public discourse concerning the family. The assertion is not just that the media has been zealous in its reporting of factional narratives, but that specific individuals both inside and outside the family have used media cycles to influence public opinion. The dynamic outlined in the report became increasingly significant as Catherine's public prominence grew in preparation for her official duties as Queen Consort. The ongoing dispute about the Sussexes' public statements and business endeavors served, according to the research, as a mechanism, whether intentional or not, for maintaining public interest. The study categorizes various projects as podcasts, production agreements, and media collaborations, which have achieved differing levels of economic and critical success. Many critics believe that sustaining controversy has become a means of maintaining worldwide relevance. The article positions William's defense of his wife as both a refutation of specific factual assertions and a comprehensive criticism of a media landscape that fosters polarization and incentivizes sensationalism. The prince's comments, as stated in the report, pertain equally to challenging the dynamics of public perception and fighting specific occurrences. William is portrayed as attempting to regain control over the narratives surrounding the royal family by challenging the factual basis of specific stories and highlighting what he perceives as selective reporting, an atypically public and confrontational stance for a member of a constitutional institution traditionally predisposed to restraint. The stakes include not just reputations, but also the sustainability of public support in a time when institutions may be rapidly transformed by viral narratives, social media amplification, and a need for sensational personal disclosures. The report study focuses on the evolving media landscape, the emergence of social platforms, where dispersed audiences choose narratives, the continuous news cycle that prioritizes immediacy over contextual depth, and the economic motivations for sensationalism in tabloid markets. It notes that these pressures have challenged conventional palace communications, which formerly depended on a limited number of trusted sources and more defined gatekeeping. The research contends that the palace's historical traditions, notably the principle of never complain, never explain, are becoming more untenable in the current fragmented context. Where one authoritative declaration formerly curtailed discussion, competing narratives now circulate swiftly, rendering the institution susceptible to enduring narratives that may solidify into public belief despite a lack of definitive evidence. The Prince Andrew scandal as context. The paper emphasizes the importance of the Prince Andrew crisis as a benchmark for institutional crisis management in the context of Prince William's participation. The Duke of York's connection to the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and the surfacing of grave charges of sexual misbehavior was one of the most destabilizing crises the monarchy has encountered in recent history. The political and public repercussions of the case altered opinions of the royal family's ability to address serious misbehavior claims, effectively serving as a warning tale about the consequences of insufficient management. Prince Andrew's 2019 interview with the BBC's Newsnight program was extensively condemned as a lapse in judgment and communication, leading to his cessation of official activities. The study outlines that the procedure for legally terminating his official affiliations was gradual and complex, ending in a definitive action to eliminate official connections and reduce the public honors and privileges formerly granted to him. The story explains that these actions were seen as necessary to protect the monarchy from further damage to its reputation and to show the public that bad behavior and questionable connections would lead to clear consequences from the institution. The account compares the evidence-substantiated threat of the Andrew scandal, rooted in grave accusations and public ties to a criminal individual, with what Prince William views as the less tangible yet still significant threat from ongoing allegations propagated by the Sussexes. While Andrew's predicament constituted a moral and possibly legal emergency, necessitating his removal from public duties, the report indicates that William perceives the barrage of allegations from California as detrimental in a different context, one that undermines public confidence, fosters discord within and outside the family, and diverts attention from the institution's constitutional and philanthropic endeavors. The decisive settlement of the Andrew issue in this account demonstrated that the monarchy could respond with rigor when faced with an indisputable scandal. William's reported interview is shown as an attempt to implement a comparable standard, albeit in a different domain, by delineating more explicit boundaries on what he considers acceptable public speech and what he deems harmful fabrications. The reference to Andrew's experience serves both rhetorical and strategic objectives. It enables stakeholders invested in the monarchy's longevity to reference a recent instance when significant measures, albeit delayed, were implemented to mitigate reputational harm and safeguard the overarching institution. The report indicates that William's unapologetic defense of Catherine is indicative of a broader adjustment. The palace seems prepared to confront external narratives and to interact more assertively with a skeptical or antagonistic media landscape when key individuals and essential relationships are involved. The palace indicates that managing reputational risk would include both internal disciplinary measures like the limitations imposed on Prince Andrew and external challenges to narratives considered inaccurate or misleading. The paper contends that by openly supporting Catherine, Prince William is simultaneously upholding the institutional integrity of the monarchy. He contends that there are limits to permissible public discourse regarding private familial issues, limits that, if breached through persistent public accusations and media sensationalism, could undermine the institution's prestige and its ability to serve as a cohesive emblem for the nation. The prince's involvement is considered both protective of his personal family and preemptive in aiming to avert a series of reputational damages that may hinder the couple's ambitions to establish a modernized monarchy. Catherine's ascension. from commoner to prospective queen. The research delineates the Princess of Wales's personal biography and public trajectory to clarify the importance of Prince William's defense, illustrating her transition from a middle-class childhood to a pivotal position under Britain's constitutional monarchy. Catherine Elizabeth Middleton was born on January 9, 1982 in Reading, Berkshire. Her parents, Michael and Carol Middleton, were employed in professions that anchored the family in the commercial sphere, rather than the aristocratic realm, he as a flight dispatcher and she as a flight attendant, before establishing Party Pieces, a mail-order business for party supplies that subsequently achieved commercial success and a measure of public prominence. Catherine's seemingly unremarkable beginnings are sometimes cited as a reason for her widespread popularity across many socioeconomic classes. She was seen not as a product of aristocratic lineage, but as an individual whose comportment and upbringing resonated with a wide demographic of the population. The report delineates pivotal events in Catherine's life: a family relocation to Amman, Jordan, for a 2-year period due to her father's employment overseas, education at St. Andrew's School in Pangbourne, followed by Marlborough College, and athletic accomplishments including captaining the school hockey team. She achieved the Duke of Edinburgh Gold Award, a testament to her discipline and dedication to project work and community service. Following a gap year that included academic pursuits in Florence and community service in South America, Catherine matriculated at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland to pursue art history. She initially encountered Prince William during her undergraduate years in 2001. Under intense public scrutiny, their friendship turned into a passionate relationship. A temporary separation in 2007 was largely seen by royal critics as a trial of their relationship. Catherine's poised and measured demeanor at that time received much acclaim and is noted in the study as enhancing the stability that subsequently defined their union. On April 29, 2011, Catherine tied the knot, assuming the title of Duchess of Cambridge. She has always tried to balance her official duties with her personal life for Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Over the last decade, she has dedicated herself to public service. Instead of building a broad patronage portfolio, the Princess of Wales has concentrated on a few major long-term issues. She has promoted mental health awareness alongside Princes William and Harry on Heads Together and stressed child development in her philanthropy. The report notes that the Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood's 2021 opening follows 10 years of research and collaboration. The center's emphasis on the first 5 years of life has shown Catherine's commitment to policy-oriented activities with long-term social impacts. This focus on early childhood development aims to align royal patronage with contemporary public policy challenges and build the princess's public image on research-based advocacy rather than ceremonial engagement. Private charitable donations, subtle support for local community fundraising, and meticulously orchestrated personal appearances have been considered signs of authenticity, empathy, and a desire to engage with citizens outside the palace, according to the report. Her March 2024 disclosure of her cancer prevention therapy drew popular sympathy and support. Her diagnostic management balancing transparency and privacy resonated with many and helped humanize the monarchy during institutional turmoil, according to observers and polls. Her response and high approval ratings reinforce her role as a stabilizing force in the company. The princess's tenacity and dedication to socially meaningful causes have elevated her to a central figure in the monarchy's revival, according to many commentators. The study emphasizes Catherine's background's symbolic meaning. Her arrival into the royal family from outside the aristocracy makes it more relatable amid popular demands for representation and accessibility. The report credits her positive public image to her ability to balance obligation and privacy. She has allowed photographs and orchestrated but carefully regulated glimpses of family life while maintaining the professionalism of royal duties, largely insulated from sensationalist scrutiny. This balance explains why attacks on her character or conduct are particularly damaging to the crown's image, according to the report. Critical moment for the monarchy. Catherine's rising influence. The study describes Prince William's public support of his wife and direct confrontation of past charges as strategic and personal. Given King Charles's later life reign and health difficulties, focus has switched to the next generation. The Prince and Princess of Wales are not only heirs apparent, but also primary architects of the monarchy's adaptation to the 21st century, engaging with a diverse and digitally connected populace, establishing charitable and civic priorities, and preserving legitimacy in an age of increased scrutiny and discourse. The study uses polling data to show the Princess of Wales's popularity. Her favorability rating is 68% higher than Prince William's 62% and King Charles' 54%, according to research. These figures support the claim that the Princess of Wales has built public goodwill, which may help the Crown rebuild trust following scandal and internal strife. The analysis shows that Catherine's public interactions reflect her policy objectives and willingness to be more visible. Attending national events and working on early childhood programs show stability, empathy, and purpose. Prince William's interview support enhances the pair's portrayal as a couple that secures the monarchy's future. William's defense is more than just personal attachment. It endorses the Princess of Wales as a key leader whose character and commitment are important to the institution's continued existence, according to the report. The couple's public image and coordinated patronage activities aim to improve monarchy-based service while conserving tradition. The report acknowledges substantial challenges. The paper includes Nat Sen's social studies, studies showing generational and attitudinal differences in UK public opinion on hereditary monarchy. According to research, 58% of the population favors the monarchy, while 38% prefers an elected leader. Statistics show that a large minority disputes the institution's structure, emphasizing that efforts to sustain public confidence must encompass not just Crown supporters, but also a broader, occasionally suspicious population. The palace's shift suggests that never complain, never explain may no longer work in an age of social media, continuous news cycles, and increased transparency. The report highlights the definitive handling of the Prince Andrew situation as a growing readiness to act publicly and decisively. Prince William's alleged interview may be an attempt to control public narratives rather than tabloid speculation or alienated family. Despite criticism, the prince is apparently trying to protect his personal and institutional reputations by addressing the fabrications he attributes to the Duchess of Sussex. This suggests a shift toward a more proactive communications approach. The study addresses tactical elements of this transformation. An aggressive communication strategy may involve legal lawsuits against verifiably false claims, strategically timed factual explanations, sympathetic media outlets, and a willingness to provide an official position that may contradict competing narratives. However, any shift toward public confrontation carries risks. Appearing defensive or excessively combative could alienate some members of the public who prefer a dignified silence from the Crown, and excessive exposure of private conflicts may undermine the monarchy's mystique and institutional separation. The prince's interview shows how royal communications must balance rebuttal with moderation. Last assessment. The story suggests that Prince William's extensive interview could signal a significant shift in the royal family's public communication strategy. In public confrontations with the family's leaders, it shows a willingness to forsake a quiet philosophy and take a more assertive approach. The Princess of Wales is now a symbol of strength and humanity after overcoming both private and public adversity. According to the article, William's public defense is that her position is vital to the future monarchy and that her personal integrity and civic responsibilities are unquestionable. The report finds that Catherine, a Berkshire commoner, has become the future queen consort and a custodian of the Crown's legacy, leading modernization and stabilization efforts. The prince's involvement protects lineage and reputation, maintains public faith, and establishes the circumstances under which the monarchy will remain a constitutional icon. The interview's efficacy in uniting a broad and skeptical audience is unknown, but the report describes it as a definite representation of a chosen route in which the Princess of Wales plays a key, albeit disputed, role. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts and say goodbye for now.